Hi, folks. Really excited to have you here today to introduce Autopatch Update Readiness for Tech Takeoff in March. First, I'm Cassidy Fine. I'm a Principal Lead Product Manager in the Windows Servicing and Delivery Department, focusing on Autopatch. You can get in touch with me or learn more about me or my work on LinkedIn, my sole and preferred social network, on linkedin.com/in/Cassidy Fine. So to kick us off today, I'm assuming if you're joining us for this particular takeoff session, you're familiar with Autopatch. If not, I am more than happy to be the person to introduce it to you today. Everything around keeping devices secure and compliant ultimately comes down to ensuring that you are deploying those updates reliably without constant and manual firefighting. And Autopatch is there to help you with that. Autopatch is built to help you stay protected, stay in control, and keep users productive as your broader update cadence accelerates across your device fleet. For Windows Autopatch, when we spoke with broader IT admins and security leaders, a few broader themes pretty consistently rise to the top. First, the importance of being secure and compliant 24/7. The ability to patch quickly to make sure you're staying ahead of vulnerabilities and keeping your software current and up to date. Second, the ability to control rollouts. So ensuring you're controlling how and when updates roll out across your diverse device groups, ensuring you're minimizing risk and disruption. And finally, being able to monitor and recover as needed. So being able to track compliance and pause or recover quickly if something does go wrong. These are some of the biggest challenges that we've seen IT teams face with the everyday, and they're exactly what Windows Autopatch was built to address. Now, one of the biggest remaining pain points we keep hearing is specifically around update failures and the time it takes to diagnose and fix them across a fleet. So this is where our newest functionality that I'm very excited to introduce today comes in. Introducing Autopatch Update Readiness, the ability to proactively resolve and update issues to strengthen Windows fleet resiliency. Now, at Windows and at Microsoft in general, we're always building and looking out for the future and the frontier. And today, this is a piece of functionality that we're very excited that's a large investment around updates specifically. Autopatch Update Readiness was created to target and resolve some of those most painful and most common issues we've heard from IT admins and other folks in the field around updates failing. We know these issues aren't novel, but they are highly disruptive. Unpatched devices become more susceptible to security threats. Update failures disrupt device functionality, which in turn then reduces end employee productivity. And troubleshooting these issues can sometimes take days or even weeks with very expensive resources, including your own devs on site. Autopatch Update Readiness addresses all of these issues by catching issues before rollout, mapping device journeys to aid in troubleshooting, and guiding admins through targeted fixes to get all of your devices into a good state. So what exactly does Autopatch Update Readiness solve? First, teams can struggle to get a holistic view of devices, which can then lead to uncertainty, wasted time, and slow decision-making. With a reliable source of truth, teams spend less time in meetings and make faster, more confident decisions, allowing you to eliminate any device blind spots across your fleet. Second, updates can fail in production due to missed prerequisites, causing rework, user disruption, and ultimately delayed rollouts. Update Readiness allows you to run readiness checks upfront, catching hidden blockers and safeguards before deployment. Rollouts are then smoother and users can stay productive, allowing you to prevent any of those update failures before they even happen. 3, vague in progress statuses can sometimes make it hard to know where updates stall, slowing down troubleshooting and leaving issues unresolved. Update Readiness maps every device's update journey, so IT teams can quickly spot where updates stall, triage issues in minutes, not days, and fix your broader system, not just a symptom. And fourth, IT teams can be overwhelmed by alerts and tickets with no clear way to prioritize or close the loop on remediation. Turn those signals into actionable outcomes and ensure that you are taking those and acting on them accordingly. Update Readiness provides actionable, prioritized alerts, targeted remediations, and transparent status tracking. IT can then resolve tickets faster, keep your backlog clean, and measure compliance gains across the board. So with that, how are we then solving those issues? What is the functionality that is included in order to address those? So first, To highlight a complete device accounting, you can see every device, not just what's enrolled in a ring, at a glance. You'll get tenant-wide accounting across all Intune devices, including content enrollment, update mechanism, and the hot patch status. So that kind of broader question of how many devices do we actually have, that debate can finally go away. The second, the readiness checkup. You can run a readiness checkup up front to catch those prerequisites and safeguards before deployment and export the exact list to fix them accordingly. That offers you less rework, less user disruption, and finally, a faster rollout. For your device update journey, this allows you to know and visualize at a glance precisely where updates stall. The device update journey replaces vague states with a clear pipeline view, comparative success by release, and a 7-day per device audit trail. And finally, alerts and targeted remediations allows you to turn signals into outcomes. Alerts are actionable and prioritized with targeted remediations, for example, OS reinstall or repair flows, and status tracking, so you can then close the loop and report progress. Fewer tickets, a cleaner backlog, and measurable compliance gains. I'll go through each of these areas and concretely each of these kind of feature areas, how you can access them within your Autopatch instance today. And then I'll do a live walkthrough in our demo tenant as well. So to address that first point, offering a complete device accounting, we now have the Autopatch management status report. This is about, again, ending that debate of how many devices do we actually have, allowing you to get a full tenant-wide view of devices and how they're managed. Autopatch management status report is a unified device-centric report, providing a tenant-wide view of all Intune managed Windows 10 and 11 devices, including both devices enrolled in Windows Autopatch and those managed by standard update rings or not under any update policy at all. This more broadly helps IT administrators identify devices that may have fallen through the cracks and ensure no device is overlooked when assessing update readiness or broader compliance. Included in this current version of update readiness, we offer a device inventory of all Intune managed Windows devices. Looking to the future, we also want to include all Entra managed Windows devices. We're offering content type enrollment status for feature update, quality update, and driver and firmware update policies. The update management mechanism allows you to see Autopatch cloud policies, update rings, or other. The alert integration indicator for active update alerts. And finally, the hot patch readiness status, whether it is ready to accept the latest hot patch or if there's something that needs to be done in order to resolve that. You can access the Autopatch management report via the Microsoft Intune Admin Center under Devices Overview. This report replaces the legacy Autopatch Groups membership report that was there previously. So here is our view of the Autopatch management status report. We can see at a glance the last synced time and date stamp, and then how many devices break down into each category. So for example, in this report in our demo tenant, you can see I have 149 devices managed for quality updates, 108 for feature updates, 87 for driver updates, 81 for update rings, and then 0 for other, and a total of 297 devices. This also allows you to, again, refresh for the latest data, export to a CSV, and your export will respect any filters or additional columns that you add, as well as the ability to customize those columns accordingly. So let's say, for example, I want to know what model my devices are and include that. We are a demo tenant, so we have a lot of VMs in our fleet. So I'm going to go ahead. I can also reset the column selections, and you can see what are on by default as well. From here, I can always search for a specific device name. So let's say I want to look for a particular desktop device. That will then repopulate the list to filter on that query. I can also, of course, add custom filters. So let's say, for example, I only want to update types enrolled in cloud policies for, let's say, drivers. I can go ahead and apply that. That will then, again, repopulate that list. And I'll be able to see at a glance, again, only devices where the update types enrolled in a cloud policy includes driver. Finally, and I think one of the most useful filters here is the ability to filter on alert. So for example, I can see for any devices where multiple security updates are missing, I can either go ahead and filter on that by alert and security. I can also access the same list by going to an alert detail. which will tell you more about the particular alert, what it means, how critical the severity is. So here, this is clearly critical, what category and the affected update type it includes, your total impact, so the number of devices that are impacted by this particular alert. It just refreshes the list and shows you the same filter I just put on. And then last but not least, the suggested remediation. So what we suggest you do in order to resolve this issue, and the ability to either run a remediation, learn more by clicking on relevant learn links, or contact your appropriate support person if not. Next up is our update readiness checkup. So we heard a lot from folks that updates will fail due to hidden prerequisites, or a update that I planned to go out just didn't hit as expected, and they were frustrated that those issues weren't surfaced in advance. Now they can be. The update readiness checkup runs across devices, shows pass-fail reasons, and lets you export that exact list to resolve issues before deployment. The Update Readiness Checker is a proactive assessment tool that scans devices to determine if they are ready to receive an update, both quality updates and feature updates, before you deploy it. It evaluates multiple readiness signals, including generic prerequisites, so things like device connectivity, active or in-use status, content-specific conditions, so things like for Windows quality versus feature updates, and feature update requirements, so for example, hardware compatibility for Windows 11. Devices that are likely to fail an update are flagged accurately. Even with great reporting and alerts, a failed update is disruptive. It can leave devices unpatched and users unproductive. The Update Readiness Checker helps avoid update failures by catching issues early, so you can fix them before pushing updates broadly. This ensures devices are in a good state to update successfully, reducing the chance of installation errors or long support calls after an update deployment. In our current release for update readiness, we include checks for feature updates, quality updates, and hot patch updates under those quality updates accordingly. You can access the Update Readiness Checker through your Intune Devices report under Windows updates and under feature updates or quality updates. So let's go ahead and pop over to the demo tenant and I can show you the Update Readiness Checker. So you'll see here, this is an older port. I'm just going to go ahead and rerun this to show you what happens. You can see there's a toast that will show that when the report is in progress and when it has been successfully generated. And from here, I can see at a glance how many devices passed for the feature update, how many devices failed, how many already have the target OS already installed, and the total number of devices assessed again. So you aren't feeling like things are kind of slipping between the cracks. From there, you can see at a glance a quick breakdown of what the issues are and the number of affected devices. And clicking on the affected devices will get you a specific list of those affected devices. So you can go ahead and export those immediately to address them, or again, populate or repopulate certain columns before that export to make that more useful for you or your team. So you can see at a glance in this particular tenant, I have 11 successfully passed. Yay, that's exciting. I can export that list as well if I need to. More importantly, I want to look into the ones that failed that feature update. So I go ahead and see that 16 of those 19 impacted devices have low device activity. And for 3 of them, device diagnostic data was not received. From here, I have a description of what the particular issue is, and then ultimately any recommended actions. So for example, for low device activity, I should go ahead and check the device usage and connectivity. Maybe just devices in a drawer that no one is using, for example. You can go ahead and do this for feature updates as well as for quality updates. So for here, I can see quite a few more are failing my regular quality update, which is not great. I can go ahead and again, drill into those as needed, whether it's low device activity, device diagnostic data not received, the OS is out of support, quality updates may be paused by the policy, and several other alerts that we can then target and offer recommended actions for as well. Again, you can see here, I can click through to look at the affected devices. And again, export or refine those as needed. Our third piece of novel functionality we're including as part of update readiness in Autopatch is the device update journey. This answers a question we've heard from many folks. I don't quite understand why some devices seem stuck. Where are these updates exactly stalling at what stage and why? This journey visualization and graph, as you can see, includes granular update stages and a per device timeline. So you can pinpoint the exact step where things may be going wrong and fix your broader system, not just the symptom of, one single device not getting updated accordingly. Currently, the device update journey is focusing on Windows feature updates, and in the future, I'll be looking to expand it to quality updates and driver updates as well. You can access your device update journey through the Intune Admin Center, Windows Update, feature updates, and then select devices managed for feature updates. You can then select again the targeted release and the policy created for the feature update that you would like to track. Within that report, you can see we show a per device timeline, broader state summaries, so what each device is in what state and ultimately why, and broader mapping alerts, so seeing at a glance if there's any kind of ties between alert and status. Using the device update journey, you can easily identify cluster patterns. So, for example, if a lot of your devices are stopping at awaiting download, you may suspect network bandwidth issues or content delivery problem. It enables deeper root cause analysis across your environment by showing where updates are getting stuck specifically. In combination with our available alerts and insights, the Journey View is a powerful tool to proactively troubleshoot and improve your update success rates. So let's go ahead again and view a live report at a glance. Our canned report is going to be a little bit busier and more diverse. So from here, we've accessed the feature update journey report. You can see we have a target release for Windows 11 25H2. And I've selected a particular policy from our dropdown. From here, I can go ahead and generate. And you'll see at a glance, it will include both data for a state point in time, as well as broader state trending. So as the report has completed running, we can see at a glance the status breakdown, how many requests have been received, how many in progress, how many have actively installed the feature update, how many have failed, how many of them may have been canceled on the user's end, how many have no actionable data, and the total number of devices as part of that as well. And we can see from here, again, just shows us a nice little chart of how these kind of track over time for the last 7 calendar days. We can change that time range as needed. And in addition, we get the state point in time. So we can see from today's state breakdown of devices for each stage in that deployment process. So for example, if you're seeing a bunch of devices in, let's say, service canceled or failed reboot, that can help drive you to look at particular remediations or particular devices right away. We can also see here at a glance, again, filtering on particular devices. Again, can always export those as needed, add additional columns as needed, but make sure that you are addressing all of those particular devices in that particular state as needed. And last but not least, we have additional alerts and remediations. So we've heard from folks, alerts can occur and they can access them, but sometimes it's unclear what to do to resolve them or how to more broadly track those fixes over time. We wanted to break down both existing alerts and add novel ones as well to ensure that IT admins can always answer the question of what an alert actually is and how to then action and solve on it if it does need solving. Windows Autopatch uses alerts to surface those conditions that may prevent devices from staying up to date or compliant. Alerts help IT admins quickly understand what's happening, how many devices are impacted, and what actions may be required. Alerts are evaluated regularly based on device health, policy configuration, and update state. And if no alerts are present for a device, no action, of course, is required. Alerts indicate conditions that may block or degrade update success, but do not always mean an update has failed. They may just be informative. To access this today, this refreshed view, you can not log into your Intune portal, navigate to Reports, Windows Autopatch, and Autopatch Alerts, or the Alerts and Remediations tab in the main landing page for update readiness. You can then, from there, view the Autopatch alerts. You'll see a list of all active alerts, each with a title, the relative severity, whether it's critical or whether it's just a warning, and the impacted category, for example, Windows updates, and additionally scope, so the number of devices affected, and the broader timestamp. We offer 2 different alerting reviews. First, the tenant level alert report. So this is a consolidated view of all alerts impacting Autopatch managed devices across the tenant. Additionally, a device level alert indicator. So alert status surface directly within a device and update reports to show whether a specific device is impacted. Alert resolutions are provided by the Windows Update service and can explain why an update did not complete or behave as expected. Each alert includes recommended actions intended to help restore devices to a healthy update state. Recommended actions are general guidance. Some alerts may require additional investigation, policy changes, or manual remediation steps. If further assistance is needed, you can always submit a support request through Microsoft Support as well. So let's look again at our broader Autopatch alerts view. You can see from here at a glance, I have 10 critical alerts, 2 warnings, and 0 informational alerts. I can always also refresh as needed. Again, export that list into a CSV or customize that CSV export with the columns that are more important to me before I do that. I can then also search either based on the alert name. Let's say I want to only look at relevant hot patch alerts. I can then filter on severity, the device category, affected update type, how many devices are impacted by that particular alert, and the date and time of that last triggered alert. Let's see, I'm just going to go back to the broader view. And from here, you can see from the device counts, it's also really helpful to understand and drill down effectively. Let's say, for example, if there are multiple security updates missing, I can look at this particular alert view and see every single device that is impacted by this particular alert within this view. So you'll see here at a glance, I have everything from the update status, whether it's assigned to an update ring, the update types, and of course, that affected alert. This should hopefully be looking a little bit familiar from our first view. Again, we just want to make sure there are multiple ways to access relevant information accordingly. You can then also drill into a specific alert. So let's say, for example, hot patch baseline missing to hot patch. We can see the 3 impacted devices that require LCU baseline is missing on the affected devices. And the next upgrade cycle will require a full LCU and reboot instead of receiving a hot patch. You can then learn more about those prerequisites or then contact your support as needed. And again, drill into those 3 specific devices if needed. The goal here is to make sure that you're aware of all alerts that are currently impacting devices in your fleet. Again, some of these may just be warnings or informational you may not need to take immediate action on. And you can always refresh the query and filter or add additional columns as needed to make sure that the report is most relevant to you. With complete accounting, proactive readiness checks, a broader transparent update journey, and actionable alerts, update readiness helps you to prevent failures, resolve those that are there fast, and prove progress without changing your existing Autopatch workflows. All of this functionality is additive to Autopatch with no change to how you deploy updates. With these changes, you'll get better visibility, proactive checks, and targeted fixes on top of what you already use today. And the best part about this is all of this value is available today. You can immediately leverage it without needing to re-architect your process. So to summarize, there's a lot of goodness here, and I want to make sure that everyone is aware of it and able to capture it as much as possible. With this proactive issue prevention, you can catch blockers before rollout and ensure that updates are succeeding the first time. A full transparency allows you to see exactly where devices are, what may be blocking them from updating successfully, and ultimately what actions are needed. Actionable alerts offer prioritized notifications with guided remediation and broader tracking. And finally, seamless integration within your existing stack today. All of this is additive to Autopatch with no required workflow changes. Autopatch update readiness means faster, safer updates with less manual effort, so you can spend less time firefighting and more time delivering ultimate value. All right, thanks, folks. I hope this was really helpful for everyone to learn how to ensure you're getting the full value from Autopatch update readiness. First, just to make sure that you're leveraging all that goodness in case you missed all of our Ignite announcements, you can catch all of them here within our blog post for Ignite. Second, if you aren't already leveraging Autopatch today, I'm very excited for you. You can learn more about making sure that you're getting started with Autopatch from our Learn docs here. Third, make sure you're also leveraging Hot Patch so you can learn more about enabling hot patching and all the goodness that comes with that from our Learn docs here. And finally, you can access all of our documentation around what I covered today around Autopatch update readiness from our Learn docs here. Thank you again for joining us today and taking the time to learn more about Autopatch update readiness and broader related products. We're really excited to hear how it goes. Please give us your feedback. Feel free to reach out to me directly. I love to hear it. And excited to speak with all of y'all and answer any questions you may have. Thank you.